Hello, this is Jeff Johnson, and this is a presentation for TSP 302. Titles Diagnosis and Exceptionalities of Social, Intellectual, Academic Characteristics in the Light of Using Universal Design and Differentiated Instruction. And as we look at the different disorders like autism and schizophrenia, there is a lot of social and emotional deregulation and restrictive interests. And so the para that's working with those kids is really important to get them to engage in some of the material. And I know that the psychological classroom that I was in, um, it was very hard because you just didn't know what was going to happen next. But if you're patient enough and didn't get overexcited and didn't overreact, then things seem to work out, even if they got a little violent. And I look at working with kids that have these types like autism or schizophrenia. Social stories is a good one. Student-directed learning strategies, My Voice, pair one-on-one instruction and behavior modifications, and then MTSS. And I think with all those, as long as you keep the classroom calm, those work pretty well. And your classroom management system has to be pretty good too, and they have to be where it's a positive feedback, and you have to give so many per minute just to keep the kids engaged, because any little thing that happened in class or disappointment could set them off. And when I think of universal design or differentiated learning, I really think about in the classes that I've worked in before in special ed, is that these kids like to do things hands-on, and when they're working with their hands and learning at the same time, kinetic learning, they do pretty well. And if you could do it in groups and do projects, that's even better. And just that positive behavioral support really helps them to learn. And when I think about intellectual, ADHD, ADD, and all those Down syndrome, it really changes the ideas of how you work with these kids. Moreover, there's a lot of one-on-one para support, but there are uses of devices to help them communicate or to help them learn. And it also helps in their motor skills as well. And, just working in those type of environments, just have them learning how to count money, doing chores, socializations that they really need. It helps them improve their outlook of how to do things. And I think that's, giving them confidence that they can navigate some of these things. So it's more of a hands-on learning. And if we look with kids continued, that have intellectual disabilities, test accommodations, where you could read the test to them, and then maybe give them two answers that they can answer. Trying to organize their school materials so they have an organization to it. Homework recordings, and that include tests, PBLs, use of iPads to help write their assignments. I've had kids that can speak in the iPad, and the iPad will help them spell and create the sentences. And you still have to instruct them how to do it, but they seem, when they could do that on their own, it really gives them some confidence. Just helping them move through those things. Sometimes they get stuck, and just helping them move to the other side where they're actually completing stuff. They can see the progress that they're making. And I think that's probably the most important strategy of all. As I think about universal design, embedded instruction, um, you could do a whole activity in the day, and have it part of the curriculum, have it part in each thing you did, really extrapolates the next idea, and so it builds on their learning. um, and that could be in the MTSS groups. It could be para one-on-one learning. It could be where we're all doing it together, and I think that's where they really, they are more engaged that way when you can help them do that. When I think of impairments of emotional disorders, um, I've seen some of these up close, and sometimes they can be scary. But I think what happens is, for me anyway, if I'm treating them the same, and I try to, try to help them learn or try to help them gain an idea, and just give them a chance to think through what is going on, they seem to react better to it. And I think even with the diagnosis, they all they're all different in these different kids, and so you just have to learn those, and sometimes it could be PTSD. Um, the biggest thing, if the school psychologist can be a part of this classroom, or even a counselor, it would help navigate some of these issues. Let the kids, where there's a person on site where they can talk right away of how things are affecting, or what's going on, and then make an adjustment right in the middle, and that's really helpful. And if we think about emotional distress kids, um, mindfulness is a great way of giving them where they can be in the moment. And even if that moment's not working too well, they can still retreat. They've got things or tools that they can use, and it really helps them focus on, what am I doing next, or how can I get to the next thing while they're doing it. And, if you give them the tools, um, and they're very much a part of that situation. And so if you let them be mindful of that, it keeps them engaged too. And then you become a feedback to them and help them uh, through the day. And if we think about impairments, or um, serious impairments, spinal bifida, epilepsy, these are things that, we encounter. I haven't encountered too much, but as long as you set the parameters, and you find out from the nurse what you need to do, what to do in an emergency, how to train the para to understand these, and then maybe we'll work together to get that solved, so we can help the kid if there's a real specific physical problem. And then of course you got hearing loss, speech problems, hearing problems, phonetics problems. And if we look at the classroom for, we kind of talked to that. knowing all these things that we have to know for kids that have disabilities. And I think if you work at those every day, it becomes, a learning situation for them too. And so it's just an ongoing cooperative learning situation for the class. And it's empowering them to overcome some of those things and self-determination to be better, to do things better. Um, Now, I've never taught gifted students. I've been around them, but these kind of make sense. Cluster groups, all school enrichment program where they can go out and do and search and be a part of different activities that, like in a hospital or a factory or even a scientific place where they learn some of the things they might do in the future. Um, and then the other thing is letting them take college courses, being a part of that, supporting them in that situation. Um, so I'd like to have that experience someday. I think it'd be cool. So if we look at differentiated instruction, to me, it's an opportunity to really figure out in the moment where kids are at and adjust to wherever they're at to whatever the need they need and having them respond in a positive way. And it could be day to day, it could be minute by minute. It's just an ongoing process of just analyzing things and then on the spot, just helping those kids, empower them to, even if it doesn't seem like in the class routine, but you could change it for them to so they can do better in class. And if you think about universal design in a sped room or a regular classroom, um, it does. It reduces barriers or academic settings. You support all learning intelligence. And I've watched this deal on how UDL is broken down, and what they came up with is engagement, representation, and then how ideas, and concepts work. And I think, in those areas, and if you can, make your classes where they have these three concepts, it really works well. Engagement is, why does material need to be learned? You're spending time getting them to get that, why do I need to learn this? Where is this going to take me? And just, having guest people come in and talk about that. Um, use more visuals to help hearing impaired or autistic kids. Um, the representation strategies could be helps in glossary for assignment, record classroom lecture, concept map, short videos explaining, and then breaking those into chunks. If you have a bigger concept or teaching that you have to do, break it in smaller steps so they can get the continuity of what they're trying to learn. In in all this, if we can get the kids to express themselves, and what they learn, what's cool about it, why do they think um, this is going to be good for them? Because I think once they have ownership on it, it really helps them to excel. And then if you tie all these things together, to working in the classroom, and I see those kids, together and they're holding their hands and And the teacher's with him. He's holding her hand. We're all in it together. We're experiencing this together, and that's what differentiating learning or universal design learning is that we're all the same. Now we might be a little different in how we learn and how fast we learn, but as far as people, we're all the same. And I think if the teacher keeps that in mind, I think it goes a long way. And having the kids really be excited, to be in the classroom and to be a part of it. And that is my presentation for today. You guys have an awesome day. Thank you.